Hey guys, welcome to another video. And if you guys have been following along, you know we're in search of our very first fifth wheel RV. And today we are going to be installing a B&W Gooseneck Turnover Ball in our 2022 F250 Super Duty 7.3 gasser. And we're also going to install the Kurt 7-pin adapter for inside the bed. So we'll do that too. There's a couple tools you're going to need, but like at first, if you're on the fence about installing this yourself or having someone install this, or you're not sure which gooseneck turnover you want to use, or what fifth wheel hitch, I'm going to tell you we're going to install this, and then we're going to kind of go over why I chose this one over other brands. Maybe like if you're take a look and say, hey, maybe this is too tough, I'm going to pay somebody to do it, or hey, that's not too hard, you know, I'll give it a shot and put it in myself. So I'm over at my brother's house because I need an extra set of hands. Some of these things are kind of heavy, so it's easier to have somebody hold it while the other person bolts it in place. So that's going to be very helpful. But we're going to go over some tools real quick you need. So get some paper and pen, pause it, whatever, and we'll go over that. Okay, so what we're going to need is a couple of 5/16 wrenches, a couple of 3/4 inch wrenches, same thing, 5/16 and 3/4 sockets, some extensions, a 1/2 inch drill bit, a measuring tape. You're going to need a good sized torque wrench because some of these bolts have to be torqued down to 150 foot-pounds. You're going to need an impact driver, would be helpful. You don't have to have one, but it's very helpful. 4-inch drill hole saw, and a little bit of bed enamel paint. But we're going to go ahead and show you how all this is installed, and we'll get to it. All right, and the first thing we got to do is take the spare tire down. And all right, this is my brother who's helping me out today, and believe it or not, he's younger than me. This is what 3 kids does to you. And guys, we're going to show you that you can do this without putting it on a lift or anything, or a jack. There should be plenty of room, but the next thing we're going to do is remove this heat shield. It's just a couple of 1/2 inch bolts. There's just 3 of them. If you want to keep track of these things, just, you know, put it right back up where you got it off of, so you know that's where they're going to go. And this exhaust is going to be kind of a little bit in the way, so we're just going to lower it down by taking off these 2 bolts, and there's one on this side too, just a 10mm. All right, that gives us a little bit of space. All right, real quick before we get to the brackets, we're supposed to drill this hole first. You need a 4-inch hole saw, and luckily 21, I think year 2021 and above, they come with a little dimple in here that you're supposed to drill. So, and it's supposed to be 45 3/4 inches to this dimple, and we measured it, and it is. So we're gonna check it out, and it's centered both ways, so it kind of does a little work for you. But if you have a little bit of older one, the dimple's not going to be there. You're going to have to measure out to here, and then measure center from each side to make sure it's in the middle. And then I don't have to hit it or anything because the dimple's already there. That's one way to do it. All right. The next step is we're going to clean this up, and you know, even though it is an aluminum bed, Ford recommends that you put a coating on it. The metal's been exposed from the paint. I might have gone a little overboard with the tape, but you know, I did jump the bit just a little bit, so it scuffed it up. So we're just got some Rust-Oleum black paint, and I honestly don't care that it matches because I use a rubber floor mat anyway, and you know, we're just going to stop the corrosion. All right, that's easy. We'll let that dry. Now we'll get to putting the brackets together. All right, guys, and today this is one of the cross member brackets, and they have a couple of 5/8 holes and a couple of 1/2 inch holes, and this thing is powder coated, and of course, you know, it gets into the threads. So we are just going to take a couple of the bolts and an impact, and we're going to start it by hand so we don't cross thread it, and put them in, run them through back and forth, so when we go to put in there, it'll be easier to tighten up instead of having to fight it underneath the truck. All right, guys, we're going to do that, and then now we have the brackets that get set on top of the ones that mount to the frame, and we got to put in a bunch of these little suckers. And as you can see, all these brackets right here, they're keyed. They have a flat edge, so you can't really screw these up. The only thing you can do to screw them up is to put them in upside down, but you're supposed to put them in from this top side, and you just, and that way when you put the bolt to it, that's why the key there is so that doesn't turn. And just to make it easier, I've laid it out exactly how it's going to go in. You know, this bracket on the outside, that's the front, so it's easier just to grab and go. Like, these brackets will go in first, then these brackets will go in, then these and these, then this bracket, that's for the front, and then this bracket goes in next, and then finally we'll put in the gooseneck. It's really not that tough. It just takes a little bit of time. Some of these nuts and bolts are just a little tight because of the coating, and I just like to run the nut and bolt on it a couple of times to make sure it threads on easy by hand, and then, you know, we'll tighten it up later, but you just still want to be able to get it on by hand first. All right, you can definitely tell that this bracket goes on the driver's side because this is the one where it places the release hitch for the ball. But if you can see down here, there's a hole right here and then a hole right over there, and this bracket is just going to go right in there. So just shove it right in, and Justin's just going to hold it in place, and then I'm going to go on the other side and bolt it up. I'm going to grab 2 washers, 2 lock washers, and 2 nuts. We'll take them in. So you can see the bolts come right through there, and this bracket's a little kind of in the way, but I'm going to see if I can't get this thing on without having to remove that. Got it. All right. Then a washer, lock washer, and a nut. Like I said, everything is just going on hand tight at first. It's gonna be a little pain to get to, but on this side, 2 holes, and he just cranks it up in there, and then he's just gonna hold it there. So it's much easier to get to, and it's not like you can put these things on backwards or anything, because they only go one way, and the holes won't line up if you put the wrong bolt on the wrong side. We're just going to tighten these up just a little bit more, and we're good. Okay, so these brackets go on top of the frame brackets, and these just sit on top of the frame, and then these will bolt up underneath here. And they got some thread lock on there, so you don't have to use a lock washer or lock nut. So we'll go install all 4 of these. And we're starting with this one because it's probably going to be the most difficult, so we'll just get it out of the way.
Oh, the bracket you want me to...
And you can see there's not a whole lot of room to work with right in here. We're just get them started, and we'll do that to all 4. All right, get the next one. All right, and the bolt.
That one started.
Okay, 2 more. It's going pretty quick, guys. Don't be afraid to do this. Okay, hold on. Well, first,
I'm just gonna hold it up there. You move things around. There you go.
and then this goes on that. All right, and this is just the short 5/8, and it has a washer on this side, but no washer on that side, just a lock washer and a nut. We put those on to get it started, and then we got a couple more to put on here. Nope, no washer and no washers on this one. Here, I'll put that one through. And just a lock washer and a nut. Like, this is a spacer bracket that the gooseneck ball actual attachment part is going to go through, and all the bolts are going to go through here. You just need the spacers so that they're all the same length. And, all right, this long bracket that goes right in here towards the back, and we got to put these nuts in. And then I'm just going to get that started, and I'm going to put one in over here. So that yep. And we just get this one started. Got one in. Then we'll put two more. All right. Now we got all four of those in. We're just going to snug them up. All right, now it's time to put in the hitch part, and I'm going to just prep these by sticking this in and then not sticking them all the way through, and just putting all the bolts in that we're going to need for it. Justin's a very important person. He gets a lot of texts. All right, and then the plate's going to go up here, and then the shorter bolts are going to bolt straight into there. So we're just probably going to hold this up first, slide those in, and remember this goes towards the driver's side. You see, now that's being supported. Now just hold this up and we'll start putting some bolts in here. And these just need a lock washer, no regular washer. All right, so got all the bolts in. All right, like I said before, you don't want to tighten up any of those bolts yet, because you want to make sure this thing comes up through the hole. So we've got a 2x4 here across the bed, and we got just a little ratchet strap, and we connected it to the bar that goes across that the gooseneck sits in, and we're just going to crank this in. So now we're going to go tighten everything back down, so when we tighten it back down, that's already through and it's not crooked and everything's straight. Now that we're down here, we're going to tighten up all these bolts and these bolts, and then tighten down the ones that are lock nuts or have the Loctite on them on both sides. And then finally, the last ones you tighten down are the big 5/8 bolts that bolt to the frame. And I'm sure you've seen a wrench turn many times, so I'm not going to bore you with that part. All right, now this is when the torque wrench comes into play. So all the 1/2-inch bolts, you're torqued down to 110 foot-pounds of torque, and all the 5/8 bolts, you torque down to 150 foot-pounds. And I got this wrench off of Amazon, and I'll leave a link in the description below. This hitch, everything, all the tools I'm using is going to be linked in the description below, like the hole saw and all that mess. So check it out, and we'll go tighten these down. We'll be almost done. There we go. There we go. There we go. And I kind of had to force this thing in, but this just comes right up over here. And to get these on, this thing on, you have to take the ratchet strap off and then pull this over to get those bolts in. All right. Back and forth a couple times. Open it. All right, that's good. All right, guys, we got to install these U-bolts. Even though I'm not using a gooseneck, which requires chains, I'm going to use a 5th wheel adapter, which does not require chains. But I'm going to put these in case I ever do decide to switch over to a gooseneck. And so we'll throw these in. Easy to drill from the bottom up. Just wear some safety glasses so you don't get crap in your eyes, but and drill straight. Oh, by the way, my brother left, and this is my nephew James helping me out. And right now he's just gonna get the burrs off of the where we drilled real quick, and then we're just gonna spray this like we did that. And each one of these gets a spring. James, hold that down, on the one on the right. There you go. And a washer. And so you set each one of those up like that, and then you just tighten it up where just a little bit of thread showing. All right, so I've already got this bolted back up. Now we just got to bolt the heat shield back up and put the spare tire on, and we're all done under here. All right, since I got the rubber mat, we're just going to take a razor knife, and I'm going to kind of feel for where it is and just cut it out. All right, it's not pretty, but that'll do. You can still reach these if we need to. Just going to stick this guy in. And James, you want to go do the honors and latch it down there? So then now it's locked in place and all done. All right, now we got our gooseneck in, all buttoned up, all the bolts bolted down to the torque spec. We're going to put this Kurt 7-pin extender in for inside the bed, and that should be pretty easy. It just goes in line, a couple of screws, and drill a hole. So we'll get to it. All right, so we're up underneath here, and you want to find somewhere, like, you don't want to get to this bracket, so we'll probably do it like right over here on this side. All right, so we got a 2 1/8 hole saw, and this was that ridge we wanted to go just this side of, and so we'll come up just a little bit, just keep it off the bottom there. Then we're gonna stick this in where we want it, mark all the holes. Then we're just gonna drill out 3/8 holes to put these little suckers in, and then screw it to it. It's that simple. Throw some paint on it. Little inserts in. Oh, it's a little wet. I don't care. You're not gonna see it anyway. All right, now we just got to put this in line to the existing setup, which is right up here. And I probably should have waited to put that spare tire back on, but you just pull that off, put this into that connector so it snaps. I don't know if you can see that, and then slide that in, and just kind of put this up out of the way. Well, just gonna run this back up in here. Push it, get it up in there. Yep, it's like that, and then clip this on, and then bolt this back up. Then just take a couple zip ties, keep this from flopping around. All right, guys, well, that's it. We got the gooseneck hitch in, and we got the 7-pin adapter moved over here inside the bed, so you can still use both. And so hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And like I said, I'll leave links to most all the tools we're using today down in the description area. Next thing we're gonna do in the next video is we're gonna put a 5th wheel hitch adapter on here. So hit that subscribe button, notification bell to see what that is and what we chose to put in here for our 5th wheel camper, and check it out. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video.